Good Tuesday evening, Middle Georgia. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett. We'll get this update going in just a second. Let me go ahead and dot some I's and cross some T's as I give you the latest update on what continues to be an intensifying Hurricane Idalia in the Gulf of Mexico. That's what we're watching as we head through the next couple of hours. Again, going to be one of those evenings that we watch everything, and then tomorrow is the big day for us in Middle Georgia, as we will be talking about the threat for those strong to severe storms across much of Middle Georgia as we get ready for what's going to be an active weather day. So that's what we're dealing with currently. Getting a live update to, let's see, just making sure everything's good. Latest updates coming in from National Hurricane Center. So that is certainly some good news. And then got to watch everything this time of evening. Again, we got a Category 2 hurricane, winds of 105 miles per hour, and I'll be breaking down everything that we need to know as we get ready to head through the day tomorrow. But again, watching things very carefully across the Gulf of Mexico as we speak, and that's what we're going to be dealing with. Very powerful thunder or hurricane, getting more and more intense as we head through the next couple of hours. Unfortunately, I think it's going to continue to intensify as we head through the end of the evening for Middle Georgia. So are keeping an eye on that, among many other things that we're doing currently in Middle Georgia. Going to be a wet Wednesday for us all. All right, just about to get started. Waiting for one more update on the logistics, and then we'll get going. But again, going to be an interesting evening as we continue to watch Hurricane Idalia in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, winds of 105 miles per hour. Heading off towards the north at 16. That's not changing much. So and again, that's what we're going to be dealing with. Okay, hope you have questions ready. Going to be a very busy day across Middle Georgia. Again, here is the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. We are continuing to watch things very carefully. 8 p.m. update. So this is just out. Winds of 105 miles per hour. That makes it a high-end Category 2 hurricane. They become a Category 3 storm when winds reach 111 miles per hour. So this will likely continue to intensify as we head through the next couple of hours. And unfortunately, this is not what we want to see. This is a storm that's really starting to get its act together. It's intensifying, and that's going to continue to lift off towards the north at 16 miles per hour. Still a lot of warm water for this system to interact with, and that pressure, that's what we're watching. That's been dropping today. If that continues to fall, that shows you the storm is intensifying. But this should at least be a Category 3 storm as it gets ready to make landfall along the Florida coast. Now, 2 a.m., actually the Hurricane Center has it as a major hurricane. That's Category 3 or greater. And then races up towards the Gulf Coast tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, we still have a Category 1 storm at 2 p.m. in South Georgia. Valdosta, over towards Alma, and then over towards Savannah and Charleston. It'll be weakening, but still, they're going to be dealing with a lot of wind and rain and the tornado threat. Tornado threat is always along and to the right of the center of circulation with a hurricane. For us in Middle Georgia, we're going to be dealing with wind and rain. We don't have a tornado threat in Middle Georgia, so that is certainly some great news. Now, hour by hour forecast, we'll be checking this out over the next few hours. The storm will continue to intensify. Now, tornado threat tonight is across the Florida Peninsula. This is where you're getting those feeder bands working in. These are always rotating. We don't have to worry about that. Now, tomorrow morning, notice by 11 o'clock, it's in South Georgia. Still is a Category 1 hurricane, working from Valdosta to Alma over towards Savannah. Our meteorologist Ryan Mirando's in Savannah. He'll be doing some live reporting from us tomorrow. But notice as you head back across Middle Georgia, we're getting a lot of wind, we're getting a lot of rain. And I'll show another radar trend in just a minute, just to give you a better picture of what we'll be dealing with in Middle Georgia. I just wanted to show you what we're going to be dealing with as the system moves off towards the north and east. So again, how about this? Tropical storm watches have been expanded since this evening. We have tropical storm watch for Washington County, as well as Wilkinson and Twiggs County, now including Houston, Peach, Macon, Sly, and Sumter County. The darker shade you see, those are tropical storm warnings. That's why we are expecting winds to reach tropical storm strength tomorrow, and that's why we're seeing a lot of school systems across Middle Georgia close as that threat continues to increase. Now, you get down towards the south, this shading of red, that's a hurricane warning for Valdosta, as well as Alma, that's over towards Brunswick, Tallahassee to Jacksonville, and then down towards the coast. So we have a hurricane warning, tropical storm warning, and a tropical storm watch, which will likely be increased to a tropical storm warning at some point overnight or during the day tomorrow. That's the wind aspect. Now, let's check out what kind of winds. Now, this evening, it's quiet and calm. Tomorrow morning, winds will start to increase, but this is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. This is when we're going to start to feel the impacts across our southern counties first, and then these winds will continue to increase as we head throughout the day. Notice by lunchtime, early afternoon, these are going to be your wind gusts, 20 to 30, maybe 40 miles per hour. When winds gust to 40 miles per hour, say down towards Vienna, Cordele, you got Crisp County, Dooley County, as well as Wilcox County. Those are tropical storm force winds. And again, they're going to be constant. It's going to be a constantly windy day, even tomorrow afternoon. Notice those winds getting close to tropical storm strength in Macon, maybe around Warner Robins, upper 30s and lower 40s. And again, these will cause tree and power issues across Middle Georgia. And that's why we're growing more concerned, is that center of circulation passing a little farther off towards the north. Now, even tomorrow night, still getting those winds, 40, 45 miles per hour, and that's enough to bring down trees and cause power issues. And that's why we think this is going to be a widespread, big, high impactful storm that's going to impact Middle Georgia, South Georgia, Southeast Georgia, and northern Florida. And then as we head through about midnight tomorrow night, still going to be windy and gusty, but again, our winds will be shifting out of the east to the northeast, and then out of the northwest as we head through the day tomorrow. And then by Thursday morning, things are quieting down for us, so that's certainly some good news. We can say this storm system will be in and out of here. Now, our real main concern, I really think it's going to be a rain threat for Middle Georgia. Still got those showers and thunderstorms ongoing tonight. As we look at the day tomorrow, starting off dry, 5, 6 o'clock, that's when the storm will be approaching the Florida Gulf Coast. Then we're going to start to see widespread rain spread inland. As the storm system moves off towards the north and east, that's how the rain's going to be moving. So it starts in the south, works towards the north, and we're going to be dealing with heavy rainfall across Middle Georgia throughout the day tomorrow. And again, when you get into these oranges and bright reds, that's tropical downpours. That's rainfall, maybe 1 to 2 inches an hour, and that's where we're going to be seeing some of the heaviest rainfall, and that's where we're going to be most concerned about that threat for flooding. And I'll show you the flood watch in just a second. All of Middle Georgia is under that threat for flooding tomorrow. We do have a flood watch in effect, but check out some of these totals. Widespread, 3 to 5 inches from Macon down towards Cochran. You get areas 6+ inches as you get down towards Dublin, up towards Wrightsville, then over towards Emmanuel County, down towards Montgomery County. Heavy, heavy rainfall. Cordell, Vienna, 2 to 4 inches of rain. Back off towards the north, half an inch to an inch. You're still going to be getting rain, say, for Forsyth, Thomaston, but you notice how quickly that gradient is. That's a tight gradient as far as the amount of rainfall we're going to be dealing with across middle Georgia. And 5 to 6 to 7, maybe some locally higher amounts. That's going to cause flooding issues, and that's why we have a flood watch in effect for all of middle Georgia. Again, this is going to be through the storm exiting the area as we head through the day tomorrow into tomorrow night. So go ahead and get ready for a very windy and a very wet Wednesday across middle Georgia. Always get the questions about tornadoes. Center of circulation off towards the right. That's where we could see a few isolated tornadoes from McRae up towards Soperton, but really it's going to be a coastal issue. If you're seeing that center of circulation and it's off towards your off towards your east, you're just going to be dealing with wind and rain. We're still going to have issues in middle Georgia, but not the tornado threat. So that's certainly some good news. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. Flooding, medium to high risk tomorrow. Wind, the same. Tornado threat, very low for middle Georgia, but got to be closer to the coast. And I've got this outages, power outages. We're going to see widespread power outages as we head throughout the day tomorrow, first starting off into the south, then working into middle Georgia as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hour. So go ahead and make plans for that, especially for areas south of Macon, down towards Dublin, Soperton, McRae, those areas. That's where we're going to be dealing with those widespread wind and storms. And again, that's what we're dealing with as we head through the next few days. That's why we're going with a weather warn day for tomorrow, because we do have that threat for impacts, high impacts from very windy conditions and heavy rainfall. We have that flood watch in effect. And again, those rainfall totals will be anywhere from ½ an inch to over 6 inches of rainfall. That's why we encourage everyone you can always download our Skywatch weather app. You can get it free in the Google Play Store, the App Store. You can also scan the QR code on your screen right now and get it for free. What's great about it, it has that interactive radar so you can see where the storm is heading, how heavy the rainfall is going to be, but it also has those push notifications, and those push notifications alert your exact location to the type of watch or warning that you want to be alerted for. And tomorrow's just going to be one of those days that we're going to be dealing with heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and again, expecting quite a bit of power outage issues across middle Georgia. So keep that in mind, especially tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. So I'm just going to be checking on social media, see what people are talking about. If you have questions, let us know. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and everywhere. So just checking in with what people are saying. Sandra Harden, watching from Lawrence County, Dudley area. You need to be prepared tomorrow, because I really think Lawrence County, you're going to have tropical storm force winds, that heavy rainfall. So just be prepared as that storm will be working its way up your direction. That's what we're going to be dealing with. And again, we're all going to be dealing with rain. Throughout the day, our weather conditions will only deteriorate as we head throughout middle Georgia. But again, this is what we're dealing with. An intensifying Category 2 hurricane will be a Category 3 by the time it makes landfall early tomorrow morning along the Big Bend of Florida. And again, I'll show you that track once again. Here is forecast model output. The intensity, it's going to be a Category 3. You can go ahead and count on that. It could intensify even a little more. But notice, 6 a.m. tomorrow, there's that eye wall. It's making landfall. Big Bend of Florida, Cedar Key area, well to the west of Apalachicola, but again, where the river dumps in, that's where you can see some of that. Here's going to be Tallahassee, Valdosta, Jacksonville, Lake Cities, where Interstate 75 and I-10 intersect, and then you head down towards Gainesville, Tampa, Orlando. From, I would say, Valdosta to Jacksonville to Orlando to Daytona, this is where that greatest threat for tornadoes will be overnight tonight and through the morning hours tomorrow. And then as we head through the day tomorrow, again, check it out. Macon, we're just getting rain, and our winds are going to be out of the north. We're going to start out of the east, Then as the system works its way in, they'll switch out of the northeast, out of the north, and then we'll get some drier air pumped in behind the system. But that's what we're going to be dealing with, is we're going to be dealing with widespread rain and storms. Again, tomorrow morning starts off dry, but then you start getting this rain increasing in coverage, and especially from Macon off towards the east and Macon off towards the south. That's where we're going to be dealing with this widespread rain, gusty winds anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour will certainly be a possibility, and that's what we're looking at. This is some of the impacts. Tomorrow morning, Idalia makes landfall in northwest Florida, or excuse me, on the Florida Gulf Coast. Winds and rain will be increasing throughout the day. Our sustained winds across middle Georgia, 15 to 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts could be as high as 40 to 60 miles per hour. Rainfall totals 1/2 inch to 6 inches plus in some locations. It could be a little heavier, and there may be a few spots that don't get any rain from this system. It's all about the location of the track of that center of low. And like I said, very low tornado threat. We do like that. That is encouraging. Tropical tornadoes are the worst. They're usually not even in thunderstorms. They're in rotating showers. They only last a few minutes. They drop down, produce their damage. That's going to be a coastal issue. Brunswick down to Savannah, Charleston, Jacksonville, and then down in the peninsula of Florida. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. I'll show you those forecast winds once again one more time. As we head throughout the day tomorrow, winds will be increasing. Early afternoon, gusty winds all across middle Georgia. And I think from about 2 p.m. to about 8 p.m., 9 p.m. maybe, that's when we're going to be dealing with the strongest winds across middle Georgia. And this is it. This is where you can see that center of circulation crossing I-16. Dublin tomorrow evening, 41 mile per hour wind gusts likely. And these are just what the models are thinking. They could be higher. So that's what we're going to be watching as we head through the day tomorrow. And again, the track of the center of circulation, if it wobbles to the left, wobbles to the right, that changes a lot of impacts across much of middle Georgia. So one final time, go ahead and plan that tomorrow's a high impact day for middle Georgia. You can scan the QR code right there, but that's really what we're going to go with a weather warn day. All day tomorrow, like right now, we're going to be doing social media posts all day long. We're going to be on Facebook. We're going to be streaming all day long, starting about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning when things start to go downhill. We'll do frequent updates on TV and online. And I think we'll keep the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube going all day long as the system continues to work inland. We've got live team coverage from middle Georgia down into Florida. As I said, meteorologist Ryan Mirando down in the Savannah area right now, so he's going to be reporting from down there. And of course, we will be tracking any wind damage reports that we may have across much of middle Georgia. And again, it all starts at the coast, worked its way inland throughout the day tomorrow. So, Gainesville here still have power. That's good. Watching from Dodge County, that's good. Heavy rain right now, and a lot of what we're dealing with this evening, it's been an active afternoon, evening across middle Georgia. Not really associated with the hurricane. Sure, there's maybe a little bit of an influence, but today, a hot and humid day, scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms develop. And notice those thunderstorms are beginning to wind down, not seeing as much red showing up, but still a decent soaking rain from Macon up to Forsyth over towards Butts County, city of Jackson, Lake Sinclair over towards Lake Oconee, then back towards Thomaston, Barnesville, down towards Cochran. The rain's starting to taper off, and this will continue to taper off as we head through the evening hours. Lightning will continue to wind down, but again, this was just kind of the precursor. This is way out ahead of that storm that's down in the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to be watching carefully. Again, from Macon off towards the south and east, that's where we do have those tropical storm watches and warnings in effect. Not very often you see tropical storm warnings and watches in middle Georgia, but that's what we're dealing with. We'll see. They may add another roll of these as we continue to see those winds increase, but especially from Wrightsville to Dublin to Cochran, down towards Vienna, you're already under a tropical storm warning. That means within the next 24 hours, tropical storm conditions are expected to be felt. That does include McRae down towards Vandalia, so Montgomery, Wheeler, Telfair County, Treutlen County, Johnson County, Lawrence, Dodge County, all of you will likely have tropical storm issues, and that's why we, again, think there'll be widespread power outages. And again, impacts, wind and rain, that's going to be our main concern tomorrow, especially throughout the evening hours. That's when we're going to start to really feel those impacts. And if you've never been through a tropical storm or a hurricane, it's just very persistent. Once it starts, it's going to be going for hours and hours, and that's why we're thinking we'll have quite a bit of rain and wind. Tornado threat, again, that's the coastal issue. Outages, power outages, I really think we'll see a lot of high impact power outages as we head through the evening tomorrow. So go ahead and plan ahead, maybe gas up the car, do what you need to, but also be aware that we're going to have a lot of evacuees in middle Georgia. A lot of people evacuating from North Florida, coming up 75, coming up 95, then cutting over to 16, coming up from the coast. Do keep that in mind. We'll be representing middle Georgia, and hopefully everything will be a-okay, but just know that a lot of people from especially the hard-hit areas of the storm impact zone down in the Florida coast and even portions of South Georgia, they're likely evacuating north into middle Georgia. So pack your patience, as we always say. And again, you see the hurricane warnings as far north as Valdosta to Alma, Tallahassee, and a lot of these people are likely heading north, at least to Macon, maybe to the Atlanta area, and then heading west towards the Florida Panhandle to get out of the path of this storm. So just be mindful of that. Tomorrow, a lot of schools, our systems are closing. You can go to Wgxa to check on that. We have a lot, wgxa.tv. We're keeping you informed and up to date of all those daycares and schools that are closing across middle Georgia. But one final time, as it's getting close to 8:30, not something you want to see as you get ready for bed tonight. I think shortly we'll kind of start to see the eye develop. We're starting to see maybe some sinking air. That's what opens up that eye, and that shows you an intensifying storm. But it's moving off towards the north at 16 miles per hour. Pressure's falling. That's not good. A falling pressure inside of a hurricane means it's intensifying. Currently winds of 105 miles per hour, making it a Category 2 storm. And these winds have been increasing, I hate to say this, but about 10 to 15 miles per hour every update. So if you think another 10 miles per hour, maybe by 11 p.m., that'd be 115 mile per hour winds. There's your Category 3 storm. And again, we have about 12 hours left before it actually makes landfall. So hopefully it does not intensify much more, but this is a very healthy looking hurricane that's going to be impacting a lot of people along the Florida Gulf Coast and into South Georgia and even middle Georgia. We're going to be feeling the effects of this storm as we head through the day tomorrow. So just plan ahead for that, letting people know that it's going to be a long day tomorrow. We're going to be dealing with all day rain, all day wind. It may be quiet in the morning when you wake up, but throughout the day, by the afternoon and evening, it's going to be pretty rampant across middle Georgia, southeast Georgia, where we're going to be dealing with heavy rainfall and those gusty winds. Of course, we'll keep you informed and up to date. We're going to have those live cut-ins. We'll be streaming all day long tomorrow until the threat passes. Hopefully this storm will not intensify much more, but of course, sleep well tonight if you can, middle Georgia. I'll have the latest update on Wgxa tonight at 11. Like I said, by then, the 11 p.m. advisory will be out, and we'll see what we could have going on. Unfortunately, about 12 hours left before it makes landfall in northern Florida, and then it will proceed to make its way up into South Georgia. So, want a quick update on the forecast. I guess the only good thing tomorrow, temperatures will likely be in the 70s, but tomorrow in Macon could be a day with heavy rainfall and those gusty winds. And again, that's going to be all day long for many, many locations. High impacts once again, flooding, wind, the tornado threat is low. Power outages, that's going to be a big issue tomorrow, so go ahead and make plans for that as we head through the evening hours. But again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett. I'll be checking social media. Any comments, let us know. And it's my pleasure, Sandra, to give you the update. That's why I'm here. And hopefully everyone will stay safe. Again, you can check out with Gary Thickpen tomorrow morning on WGXA in the morning. He'll have the latest on the track. And then I'll be in. Again, we'll have live coverage all day long. from here in Macon and reporting all across middle Georgia, down on the Georgia coast, as well as down into Florida. We got live team coverage everywhere you go. So just go ahead and leave this up for a minute. I'll go to shut the stream off. And then again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett, hoping everybody stays safe as we get ready for this high impactful event that's going to make its way on the Florida coast tomorrow morning, then crossing Interstate 10, working up into South Georgia, producing heavy rainfall, gusty winds for many of us, and likely we'll have widespread power outages throughout middle Georgia. Until then, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett. Sleep easy tonight, middle Georgia.